Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. Today's video is going to be on coffee filter fire starters. I call the ones I make Inferno Bricks, which are these right here. This is a flat one. Got the idea from a company that started with these. These are the original coffee filter fire starters. He put sawdust and used coffee grounds in a coffee filter and then dipped it in wax. Right, so then what you do is you take this little piece here, you light a match to it. I've started it with char cloth, and then you get it going, and it provides you probably anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes, depending on the environment, dampness in the air, wind, so on and so forth. Right, so I made my own after this company, I'm not mistaken, went out of business. I made my own, which are these two right here. I decided that these are too bulky to carry, right? So, being that they're too bulky to carry, I came up with the flat one. Now, I didn't make this one, somebody else did, but I found it and I'm using it as a demo because I ran out of mine. So anyway, this is a lot easier to carry than this, right? So you can carry more of these than you would carry more of this, right? So if you carry 3 of these, it took up a lot of room. If you carry 3 of these, it would almost be like carrying one of these, right? See how round that is and thick it is? It's bulky, so it gets in the way, right? So with that, today's video is going to show you how to make a coffee filter fire starter. So what you're going to end up doing is getting a coffee filter. The original company used brown coffee filters. I'm not sure if they were used or not, but I've used just regular small coffee filters. Try not to use the big ones. They're a pain in the ass to fold up in the end. So try to use the smaller ones, the ones you use at home. So anyway, to make the flat ones, you're going to use Altoid tins, right? So I have a big one and I have a small one. Small one, again, it is nice to have. You can get a fire going about 2 to 3 minutes. You can have this burn for 2 to 3 minutes versus the big one, which takes probably about 5. I am going to do a demo burn at the end. I'm not going to go outside. I'm going to do it here. So we're going to do it at the end and time each one. All right. So anyway, let's get started. So flatten it out as best as possible because it helps to put it in here. When you're stuffing it in, make sure you don't crease the edges. If you can see that, the little edges around here that come inside the Altoid cans. Try not to crease under them because then it becomes hard to pull out. Right, so you're gonna pretty much put it in there like this. We might make a big one. I'm gonna decide at the last minute. We're definitely gonna do 2 small ones, right? So sawdust and coffee filter ratio, I do 2 to 1, right? So I do 2 tablespoons of coffee, used coffee grounds to sawdust, right? So with the used coffee grounds, you have 2 choices in drying them out. You can put them in the oven right after they're used, or you can let them sit out and spread it in like a plate or pan or something, right? And let it dry out naturally. I tend to, if I'm in a rush, when I'm in a rush, I tend to put them in the oven, right? Summertime, of course, is easier. Leave them out in the sun, let it bake. If you leave these in a corner in your kitchen where there's no sunlight or any kind of heat or dry air, this will mold, which is not a big deal. You throw it in the oven, let the heat kill the mold, and there you go, right? So Take one. Well, with the sorry, with the small ones, it's actually 1 and 1. With the bigger ones, it's 2 and 1, right? So you do 1 and 1 with this, with the small ones, right? So when you're folding them, this doesn't create a huge mess when you're doing this. But now once you're done, try to fold the piece that sticks up. This will be easy to light. You don't have to peel it back because if it's when you dip it in the wax, it's completely down. It's not a big deal to break it up, but it's always good to have it ready to go. Right, so that's one. Right, so that's 1 and 1. It's 1 tablespoon of coffee grounds, used coffee grounds, and 1 tablespoon of sawdust. Right, so to show you, we're going to do a big one. Same thing applies. Try not to crease the coffee filter under the lip, right? The lip, of course, in here is bigger, so it can't get caught coming out. It's not the end of the world. It's just a pain in the, ass. You know, right? So here's 1, and there goes. Sorry, and that's why it's 2 to 1. Right, sawdust at the bottom, coffee grounds in the middle, second layer, and your last layer, last tablespoon, throw it back on the top. Now, every now and again, you'll get little wood chips in here. You can leave them in if you want, or you can take them out. I usually take them out. Now, these things burn really well when they're fresh, meaning once it dries and you let it sit for an hour or 2 and you try to use it right away, it will light up pretty quickly. Let it sit around for a couple of days. It takes a bit, right? But using a match or lighter, these are going to light up right away. Using a char cloth or ferro rod takes a little bit. Now, with the big ones, right? That was fairly easy. With the bigger ones, you can break them up. You can break up the small ones too, but you wouldn't have to use the entire thing, right? So that's pretty much what it looks like before you dip it in wax, right? So we're going to do 1 more small, right? Again, small one is 1 and 1, big one is 2 and 1, right? So 2 sawdust tablespoons to 1 coffee, used coffee grounds. Of course, the coffee grounds, if I'm not mistaken, judging from watching it burn, sustains the fire longer than just straight sawdust, right? Sawdust has, of course, a high fast burn quality. This sustains it, right? So 1 and 1. And then if you have that little lip to pull out, it's a lot easier. So that's that. So now I'm going to bring the wax over, which I had melting on the stove. And please don't put the wax directly into a pot. I'm pretty sure that people notice, but there are people out there who don't think you put the wax directly into the pot that's on the flame. You put the wax inside of a bowl, glass bowl preferably, and then you take that bowl or another pot and you put it into a pot that has hot water in it and let it melt that way. Okay guys, so now I have the wax and the coffee filters here. This is beeswax. You can use paraffin wax as well. I've used paraffin wax in the past. This is actually my first time using beeswax. So, well, here goes nothing. So, when you're dropping this in, you gotta let it soak, Alright, so you're going to let it soak all the way through. Then you're going to put it on, what I would use is aluminum foil. If you're going to use plastic, make sure it's a thicker plastic and not saran wrap, or it's going to get stuck to this when it finishes drying. So foil works out a lot better than saran wrap or a thicker piece of plastic. Right, so a lot of the times, what I use to fish out of here is a spoon. You can use tongs, but if the tongs are too cool, which should be a little warm, they're too cool, they're going to stick right to this and you're going to wind up tearing it apart. So if you're going to use tongs, make sure you warm it up a little bit so that it doesn't stick. Same goes for spoons. Right, so don't be afraid to get a little wax on you. I promise you it's not going to kill you. So you're going to dip it again. That's the other thing. You're going to dip it once on its bottom side, and then you're going to dip it again on the front. You could do it all in one sitting if this thing sticks together well. It usually gives you a little bit of a problem doing so. So now it's completely soaked. Right? Alright, so once these are all done, you let them dry. It takes a few minutes. It doesn't take a couple of hours. It takes a few minutes to let them dry. And once these are dry, we're going to light one up. And we're going to light two of them up. We're going to light the large and the small one up. See what the burn time is. Now the burn time does vary depending on, again, the environment, whether it's windy, damp, how much you actually used in each one, right? So this is supposed to burn longer. The big one's supposed to burn longer than the smaller one because obviously the smaller one's small. There's less product inside, right? So that being said, it should provide you with sufficient amount of time to get a good fire going, right? So, like I said before, you got to be careful with the tools you use. Sometimes it's just better to use your fingers. You get a little wax, it's not going to kill you. All right, so we're going to wait for these to dry, and we're going to come back and we're going to test the two, large and small, and we're going to time the burn time. Okay, guys, so we're back. So for sake of the video, we're going to light these with matches and get the time going. All right, so you can light this up with ferro rod. You can light this up with charcoal. Like I said, it takes a little bit of time. I tried it earlier, and I got it going, as you can see there, and then I put it out. All right, so we're going to light these up, and then we're going to start the timer. Or we're going to start the timer now, and then light it up, sorry. All right, so the big one didn't catch. Oh, yes it did. So 34 seconds in. Again, this is the perfect condition. We're indoors, there's no wind, there's no dampness in the air, there's no moisture, there's no rain. So you have to take the environment that it's in right now into account. But now we're at the 4-minute mark, and it's still going good. And if you can't get your fire started in 4 to 5 minutes, actually in 2 minutes, then you probably have bigger issues going on, right? Then you probably have like a ton of wet wood or a ton of frozen wood, or you're not cutting them down to size small enough for them to catch. Okay, so we stopped this at the 5-minute and 30-second mark. This can go burning off another 2-3 minutes. So as you can see, this is proof that this is going to last you. This is going to give you more than enough time to get a fire started. Right? Again, you're not throwing large bundles of wood on. You're throwing anything smaller than pinky onto it to get it to grow more. Then you gradually throw larger sizes of wood on. You don't get to logs until you got a nice hot bed of coal underneath and you got the fire hot enough, right? So logs are the very last thing you put on. When you're starting a fire, you should always start early in the day. Don't wait till nightfall. Don't wait till the air gets too damp. Start it early, especially if you're going to be sleeping in front of a lawn fire, right? You don't want to wait till nightfall, like I said before. All right, guys. So anyway, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to both my channels, the Angry Prepper Urban and the Angry Prepper Outdoors. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Google+. Thank you for watching.